Hello students, today I am going to begin a new chapter in physics. It is chapter 4, motion in a straight line. Motion in a straight line. Now see here, motion of a body we can discuss in two branches. One is the kinematics and other is the dynamics. Today we will start kinematics. Kinematics is what? Means under kinematics and under dynamics, there is one term, dynamics, that is also pertaining to motion. So under kinematics we discuss the motion of the body without considering the cause of motion. It's clear? Considering motion of body, considering motion without the cause of body, without cause. It's clear? While in dynamics we study the motion, we study about motion of the body, with due consideration of its cause, with due consideration of its cause. Now see here, what is the cause of motion? That you know, anyone can tell that the cause of motion is force. It is the force which causes the motion in any body. It is the force which brings the change in motion of the body. It's clear? So here we will discuss only about the motion without considering the force. It's clear? It will be discussed in what parameters? It will be discussed in terms of velocity, in terms of acceleration. It's clear? In terms of the distance covered. It's clear? While here we will study in context of the force. It is clear? So kinematics is that branch of physics which deals with the moving body without considering the cause of the body. It's clear? While dynamics is that branch of physics which deals with the motion of the body with due consideration of its cause. Now today I will start from very basics of kinematics that you already have studied in the class 9th, but once again I will revise that. Now there is one term rest and other term motion. It's clear? What do you mean by rest and what do you mean by motion? So rest means any object is said to be at rest if its position is not changing with respect to the surroundings. If its position is not changing with respect to surroundings, then it is said to be in rest. If position of body do not change with respect to, WRT means with respect to surroundings, then it is said to be at rest. It will be said to be at rest. If the position of body do not change with respect to the surroundings, then it is said to be at rest. But if the position changes, if position of body changes with respect to surroundings, then it is said to be in motion. With respect to surroundings, then it is said to be in motion. Now see here, these rest and motion are relative terms. As already I told, it depends upon the surroundings. If with respect to surroundings, body is not changing its position, it remains at the same position all the time, then it will be at rest. But if with respect to surrounding its position is changing, then it is said to be in motion. Rest and motion are relative terms. रिलेटिव टर्म्स मीन्स ये नहीं कि भाई बहन हैं और मदर फादर हैं, ये ऐसा नहीं है. इट इज क्लियर. रिलेटिव टर्म्स मीन्स you can see here that we are comparing that which body is at rest and which one is at in motion. Suppose this is the railway platform and a person is standing here. This is the compartment of the train which passes in front of the platform in this direction, and there are two passengers. One is B is sitting here and other is C is sitting here. So if B compares himself with respect to C or C compares himself with respect to B, then he will find that he is at rest. It's clear. B is at rest with respect to C, C is at rest with respect to B, because they find with respect to each other in such a way that their position is not changing. Therefore, they are at rest with respect to each other. B and C are at rest with respect to each other. With respect to each other, they are at rest. But if you compare with respect to this passenger, which is A, then B finds or C finds or A finds that the position of B and C changing with respect to him. When the compartment is moving in this side, so when it goes, so he finds that the distance of the passengers from him is increasing. It's clear. Means B and C are in motion at the same time. At the same time, they are in motion with respect to E. It is clear. That's why it depends upon the surroundings. That what are the surroundings? If surroundings you change, if you change that reference frame with respect to which you are comparing, then the state of rest, the body may have the different state. It may have, suppose in one frame it is at rest, in the other frame he will be in motion. I am giving one more example. See here. Suppose this is the elevator's cabin and its walls are of glass, and here body is hanging from here and one person is standing here. There is another person here outside the elevator's cabin. Outside the elevator's cabin. So see here, A will find that this body is at rest with respect to E. This body is at rest with respect to A. But with respect to B, it is not in rest. It is moving down. It's clear. So the state of rest or state of motion of the body will depend upon the fact that what is the reference frame, what is the frame of reference with respect to which its position is being compared. What is frame of reference? So frame of reference, in order to define the position of the body, we take certain frame of reference, arbitrary frame, with respect to which we describe the position of the body, or with respect to which we describe the timing of the body. It's clear. So that is known as the frame of reference. On that I will come afterwards. Now see here, there is one more term, distance and displacement. Distance and displacement. One before distance and displacement, you see here. Now motion can be one-dimensional motion. One-dimensional motion. It may be two-dimensional motion, or it may be three-dimensional motion. Dimensional motion means D means dimension. It's clear. As we know that there are three independent directions. One is the x-axis, other is the y-axis, and on the plane of paper z axis is made like this. It is clear. Here z do not look perpendicular to x and y, but actually it is perpendicular. Actually it is perpendicular. I am showing to you. Suppose this is x axis, this is y axis, and this is the z axis. It is clear. X is perpendicular to y and z, y is perpendicular to x and z, and z is perpendicular to x and y. So since it is three-dimensional and our paper is two-dimensional, so that's why we represent it by this. But it means actually it is this. It is clear. So it is on the plane of paper, it is made like this. Now these are the independent directions. Why do we say it as independent direction? Because if you apply some force in this direction, it will have no effect in y and z direction. It's clear, because its component in the other directions will be 0. All of you remember this thing, and you will study afterwards that if a force is applied in one direction, then there will be no effect of that force in right angle to the direction of force. Right angle to the direction of force. Perpendicular directions are always independent. They, if anything takes place in one direction, it will not produce any effect in its perpendicular direction. So these are the three independent directions. If the body is only moving along x-axis, or the body is only moving along y-axis, or the body is only moving along z-axis, then it is said to be one-dimensional motion. It's clear. One-dimensional motion. If the body is moving on a straight line, you can say. If the body is moving in a straight line, in a specified direction, then its motion is said to be one-dimensional motion. One-dimensional motion means motion in a straight line. Motion in a straight line. In a straight line. It's clear. That is known as the one-dimensional motion. Motion in a specified direction. That is the one-dimensional motion. What is two-dimensional motion? In which body travels simultaneously in two perpendicular directions. In which body travels simultaneously in two perpendicular directions. I am showing here by one diagram. You can see. Here this is the plane of paper, and here on this plane of paper, this is the x direction. This we have taken origin, and this as y direction. Suppose a cheetah you have seen, or cheetah you can say, it starts moving and it moves in this way and reaches here. So it had travelled by how much distance along x-axis? Along x-axis it has moved by this distance, and in the same time it has moved this much distance along y-axis. It is clear. Both the directions are normal. Actually that cheetah is going along this path. It's clear. But when it moves on this plane surface, then it travels this much distance along x-axis and that much distance along y-axis. So it is a two-dimensional motion. So if the body is moving simultaneously in two perpendicular directions, then its motion is said to be one-dimensional. It is a two-dimensional. Two-dimensional means 2D motion means body moved simultaneously in two perpendicular directions. That motion is said to be two-dimensional motion. It is clear. We can also say that motion in a plane. Plane do not means aeroplane. It is clear. Plane means any surface constituted by two perpendicular directions. It is a surface constituted by two perpendicular directions. So that will be the two-dimensional motion. It is clear. Now three-dimensional motion. In which body travels simultaneously? Body travels simultaneously in three perpendicular directions. If the body is traveling simultaneously in three perpendicular directions, then that motion is said to be three-dimensional motion. It is clear? That motion is said to be three-dimensional motion. For example, motion of a mosquito. It is clear? That is a three-dimensional motion. That you can find here, it will start moving from this way to this. It is clear? It has moved from here to here. So what has happened? It had travelled this much distance along x-axis, this much distance along x-axis, this much distance along this axis, and this much along z-axis. It is clear? Suppose it starts from here and moves here, then travelling this much distance along x-axis, this distance along y-axis, and this distance along z-axis. So that motion will be the three-dimensional motion. But in this chapter 4, it is the motion in straight line. It is the one-dimensional motion. It is confined only to the one-dimensional motion. Now see here, some basic terms I am going to explain you. For example, distance and displacement. Before that, I will also explain you vector quantity and scalar quantity. Scalar quantities are those which require only magnitude to define completely, which require only magnitude, to define completely are called scalar quantity. Scalar quantities are those which require only magnitude to define completely. For example, if you have to describe mass, then there is no sense of mentioning the direction in describing the mass of any body. It's clear? Suppose if I say that my mass is 100 kg, so there is no sense that my mass is 100 kg in each direction. Whatever be the direction, mass will remain same, because mass depends upon the amount of matter contained in the body. Similarly, there is no sense of direction in describing the time. It's clear? No sense in describing the amount of area, volume. It's clear? There are many quantities: density, distance, speed. All these are the scalar quantities, while the vector quantities are those which require magnitude and direction, magnitude plus direction, both, to describe completely. Means there are some quantities whose sense of describing will be completed only when you describe the direction. Otherwise their sense will remain incomplete. It is clear? There are some quantities which can be described only when you mention their direction. For example, if you have to describe the displacement of your school from your present position, so you have to describe that at how much distance from your present position is the school and in what direction. That what is the distance and what is the direction. By describing both only, you can describe that you can describe the position of your school with respect to your position. It is clear? Without direction it is not possible. Similarly, force, we can describe the effect of the force only when we describe the direction of force. It is clear. Only when we tell the direction of force. For example, this is a chalk piece. When you will apply the force on this chalk piece, what will happen? This is not the chalk piece, this is the sketch pen. When suppose this is the chalk piece and you are applying the force, it will start moving. But if you apply the force this way, it will break. It is clear. Or if you apply the force in this way, it will go in some other direction. If you apply the force upward, it will be lifted. It is clear. So effect of the force will depend upon the direction. It is clear. So displacement, force, velocity, it is clear, acceleration, these are the vector quantity. These are the vector quantity. It is clear. Now see here. So after this, what is distance and what is displacement? So one thing already I told that distance is the scalar quantity and displacement is a vector quantity. What is distance and what is displacement? You can see here it is a scalar quantity while this is a vector quantity. About vector quantities we will study later in detail. It is clear. Now see here, distance is what? Total length of path. Total length of path travelled by a moving body. Total length of the path travelled by a moving body is called the distance. Suppose a body starts moving from here, from position A, it goes to the position B. Then from B, it goes to the C. Suppose here it goes 50 meter, then it goes 30 meter, it's clear. Then it goes 20 meter to the point D. So what will be the distance covered? Distance covered will be equal to 50 plus 30 plus 20, that is equals to 100 meter. That will be the distance covered. While the displacement is what? It is the straight distance between initial and final position. It is the shortest distance. Shortest distance between initial and final position. Null position. Or we can say that it is the straight distance. Shortest distance or straight distance. Straight distance. Because the straight distance will be always shortest. Straight distance will be always shortest. It is clear. Means what will be the displacement here? Displacement will be from A to D. From A to D. Displacement will be equal to AD. This will be equal to AD. It is clear. So see here, distance is what? It is the total length of path travelled by a moving body. While the displacement, it is the shortest distance between initial and final position. For example, if a body is moving on a circular path, it is clear. You can see here. If the body is moving on a circular path, it starts moving from this point. It is clear. From point A, it starts moving. And after moving over the circular path, once again it reaches at the point A. Means its initial position is A as well as the final position is A. What will be the distance covered? Distance covered will be equal to the circumference. Here distance covered will be equal to the circumference. But what will be displacement? Initial and final points are coinciding, therefore the displacement will become 0. Displacement will become 0. Now see in the straight line motion, in the one dimensional motion. One dimensional motion, as we know that body always travels in the straight line. Suppose the body starts traveling from here and goes in this direction. It's clear. And reaches up to the P. What will be the distance travelled? Distance travelled will be equal to length of AB. distance will be equal to length of AB. That will be the distance travelled. What will be the displacement? If you see here, displacement will also be equal to length of AB. Means we can say that in straight line motion, magnitude of displacement is same as the distance covered. In straight line motion, magnitude of displacement is same as distance covered. It's clear? So that you remember. See here, I am writing in straight line motion, in straight line motion or one dimensional motion, magnitude of displacement is equal to distance covered. That will be equal to distance covered. In straight line motion, magnitude of displacement is equal to the distance covered. It's clear? Now see here. So this is in one dimensional motion. Otherwise what will happen? Otherwise displacement will be always smaller than distance covered. Otherwise magnitude of displacement, which we also denote this way. You can see here magnitude of displacement, because the displacement is a vector quantity, will smaller than the distance covered. It's clear? Means displacement may be zero. After moving some distance, displacement may be zero, but the distance covered can never be zero. Now there are two other terms. Speed, what is the SI unit? That you know, no need to tell you. SI unit of distance and displacement, it is meter. Now speed is what? It is the distance covered per unit time. Distance covered per unit time. Distance upon time. It is clear. While velocity is what? It is the displacement occurred per unit time. Displacement occurred per unit time. It is clear. That is known as the velocity. Speed is a scalar quantity, while the velocity is a vector quantity. It is clear. Speed is distance covered per unit time. Velocity is the displacement occurred per unit time. But as we know that numerically in straight line motion both are equal. Numerically in straight line motion both are equal. It's clear. So see here, it means modulus of velocity will be equal to speed in one dimensional motion. In one dimensional motion, numerically both are equal. It is clear. Means magnitude of velocity will be same as the speed. What is unit? That also you know, meter per second, meter per second. How will you convert kilometer per hour into meter per second? That also you know. Here, how will you convert 36 kilometer per hour in meter per second? So kilometer per hour can be converted into meter per second by multiplying with 5/18. 18 2 that is equals to 10 meter per second. That is equals to 10 meter per second. It is clear. So this. Now see here. You can see here. There is a term uniform motion. Uniform motion. It is clear. Or here you can see uniform speed. What is the meaning of uniform speed? As we know that speed equals to distance upon time. Speed equals to distance upon time. Uniform speed means if a body travels equal distances in equal intervals of time, travels equal distances in equal intervals of time, then body is said to have uniform speed. Means if there is a body moving in such a way that in every 10 seconds it is traveling 50 meter, in every 10 seconds it is traveling 50 meter, whether moving on a straight line or moving over any path. It's clear. But if it travels equal distances in equal intervals of time, suppose it is moving over circular path, traveling equal distances in equal intervals of time, it is said to have uniform speed. It's clear. But when we say uniform velocity, when we talk about the uniform velocity, so as already I have told, velocity consists two things. One is the speed and other is the direction of motion. Velocity is consisting speed plus direction of motion. It will remain same, it will remain uniform only when both remain same throughout. It is clear. Neither speed is changing nor direction of motion is changing. That will be possible only when the body is moving over a straight line. When it will move on a straight line, its direction of motion is fixed, because at every point direction of motion will be same. Now if it covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, it will have the uniform velocity. But suppose it is moving with the uniform speed over this, then whether the velocity will be uniform? No, velocity will not be uniform. Though speed is uniform, but the direction of motion is continuously changing, which is tangential here. Direction of motion is tangential. Direction of motion is changing, therefore velocity will not remain uniform. Velocity will not remain uniform. It's clear. Now see here. So uniform speed, uniform velocity, that I told. So what do you mean by non-uniform speed? Non-uniform speed travels unequal distances in equal intervals of time. What is the non-uniform speed? You can see here. Non-uniform speed, which we also call it the variable speed. Variable speed means travels unequal distances in equal intervals of time. Means suppose in the first 5 seconds it travels by 10 meter, then in the next 5 seconds it travels by 20 meter, then in the next 5 seconds it travels by only 2 meter. Then here what will happen? Speed will not be uniform. Speed is not uniform. Now non-uniform velocity. So you can see here, velocity will become non-uniform when any one thing which varying, at least any one thing is varying. Either speed is varying or the direction of motion is varying. That you have seen here in this example. I explained. Here speed remains constant. Suppose here it is traveling in such a way that the speed is constant, but velocity is not constant. Why? Because the direction of motion is varying. It is also possible that the body is moving in a specified direction. That is, direction of motion is fixed. But it is, for example, the train, when the train leaves to the station, what will happen? Its path is almost straight. It is clear. So it is moving in a specified direction, but the speed is increasing. When it reaches to the platform, what will happen? Path is almost straight, but the speed is decreasing when it reaches to the platform. So velocity will be non-uniform because the variation in the speed. It is clear? Now there is one term, instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed or instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous speed means speed at any particular moment. Speed at any particular moment or over an infinitesimally small. If you have to find the instantaneous speed at any instant, instantaneous speed means speed at any particular moment. In order to describe the speed at any particular moment, around that timing we will take an infinitesimally small time interval. We will take an infinitesimally small time interval and we find that how much distance it travelled over that time interval. How much distance it travelled over that time interval. So what will be the instantaneous speed? That will be equal to ds upon dt. It's clear? D by dt of s. Here s means displacement. S means displacement. It is clear? So how will you find the instantaneous speed? Instantaneous speed means speed at any particular instant. How will you determine instantaneous speed? In order to determine instantaneous speed at any timing, we will determine distance covered over an infinitesimally small time interval at that timing. It's clear? In language of calculus, we write it as d by dt of s. It's clear? Since in one dimensional motion, displacement can be along x direction or it may be along y direction or it may be along z direction. So we also represent the symbol s by x, by y, by z. It's clear? So we can also write it as dx upon dt, d by dt of x. X is the distance covered in x direction in time t. It's clear? Or dy upon dt. It's clear? D by dt of y. Y is what? Distance travelled in y direction in time t. Or dz upon dt. Distance travelled in z direction in time t. It's clear? So these are the formulae of the distance, velocity, speed, instantaneous speed in language of calculus. It is clear? If you talk about the average speed equals to what? If when the body is moving with a non-uniform speed, then we find out its average speed. So average speed equals to what? It is equals to total distance travelled upon total time taken. It is clear? Total time taken. For example, when a train goes from station A to the station B, its speed do not remain constant. It is clear? Its speed do not remain constant. Sometime it is in motion, sometime it is moving with a slower speed, sometime it is moving with a greater speed, sometime it is at a rest. So what will be? We will determine the total distance between them and then how much time it has taken from going A to B. So we will get the average speed of the train. It's clear? So this is the instantaneous speed. Now what is the instantaneous velocity? Instantaneous velocity, the same thing. Instantaneous velocity means velocity at any particular moment. Velocity at any particular moment. It's clear? In straight line motion or in any motion, besides speed, it will also have the direction. In calculus, we write in the same way. It's clear? V equals to ds upon dt. It gives the magnitude of the velocity. It's clear? Now, how will you find the average velocity? Average velocity will be equal to average velocity. Here it is equal to net displacement upon time taken, upon time taken. Now you can see here, suppose a body is moving over a circular path. It starts from A and after moving once again it reaches to the A. What and radius of circular path we have taken R. So what will be the average speed? Average speed will be equal to, here you can see how much distance it travelled, 2 pi r in what time t. So it will be 2 pi r upon t. But what will be the average velocity? It will be, displacement has become 0, 0 upon t, that will be equal to 0, that is equals to 0. It is clear. Now there is one term, acceleration. What is acceleration? So you can see here, what do you mean by acceleration? Acceleration means it is the rate of change of velocity. It is the rate of change of velocity. Change in velocity per unit time. Rate of change of velocity. That is change in velocity per unit time. Change in velocity per unit time. That is known as the acceleration. It is clear. Now you can see here. Here acceleration, what is symbol? A, it is what type of quantity? It is a vector quantity. Acceleration A equals to delta V upon delta t. In vector form, how will you write? We will write in this way. In calculus, how will you write? A equals to d by dt of V. A equals to d by dt of V. Because when we are determining the acceleration at any instant, then time interval will be very small. When time interval will be very small, then its value becomes equals to dv upon dt. Delta V upon delta t will become dv upon dt. Now see here. Here, if the body is moving in such a way that its speed is increasing, then we will say that the acceleration is positive. It's clear. If the body is moving in such a way, speed increases, then there will be acceleration. If speed decreases, then what will be? There will be retardation. Or negative acceleration. Or it is also known as deceleration. It is clear. So if speed is increasing, then there will be positive acceleration. If speed is decreasing, there will be negative acceleration, which we call retardation, which we also call the deceleration. For example, when a body is thrown vertically upward, what will happen to the speed? Its speed it will decrease. It's clear. Why? Because Earth is pulling a gravity force upon it. F equals to mg is acting vertically downward on the body, and body is intended to go in upward. Therefore, speed will decrease. Therefore, its motion will be retardative. It is clear. While when it is falling from some height, so here gravity force is acting in what direction? Downward direction. So its velocity will increase. Therefore, what will happen? It will have acceleration, positive acceleration. There will be the positive acceleration. It is clear. Now there is one uniformly accelerated motion. Uniformly accelerated motion, which means that acceleration is constant. Constant means it is constant in magnitude as well as in direction. It is clear. That is known as uniform acceleration. Means if the velocity of body changes equally in equal intervals of time. if velocity of body changes equally in equal intervals of time, it is said to have uniform acceleration. Velocity changes equally in equal intervals of time, then body has uniformly accelerated motion. It's clear? Any example of uniformly accelerated motion? So motion under gravity. Motion under gravity is uniformly accelerated. Motion under gravity. This is the uniformly accelerated motion that you remember. It's clear? Motion under gravity is a uniformly accelerated motion, not up to very great heights. It is clear? Not up to very great height from the earth's surface. Near the earth's surface, it is uniformly accelerated motion. That is A, that is G, acceleration due to gravity represented by the symbol G. That we know its approximate value is 9.8 meter per second square. All these things you know. You have studied in the class 9th. It's clear? As well as in the class 10th also you have studied some part. So uniformly accelerated motion means if the velocity is changing equally in equal intervals of time, then the body is said to have uniform acceleration. Means here acceleration is constant in magnitude as well as in direction. Now what is non-uniformly accelerated motion? So you can see here non-uniformly accelerated motion. So non-uniformly accelerated motion. Now it means acceleration is not constant. Here it is not constant. It is not constant means changing in magnitude as well as in direction. Changing in magnitude as well as in direction. That is called the non-uniformly accelerated motion. It's clear? Changes in magnitude or in direction or in both. It's clear? For example, if when here I am giving one example. Here body is moving along a circular path. So when it is moving along a circular path, so you have already studied that its motion will be accelerated. It will have a centripetal acceleration whose magnitude will remain same everywhere. Magnitude will be v square upon r in uniform circular motion. In uniform circular motion, when the body is moving with a constant speed over the circular path, its motion will be accelerated. But this acceleration, which is constant in magnitude, not constant in direction. When the body is here, it is in this direction. When the body is here, it is in this direction. It is clear? So its direction is varying. Therefore, its motion is non-uniformly accelerated. Non-uniformly accelerated. Though magnitude is constant, but because of the change of direction of acceleration, its motion is not uniformly accelerated. It is non-uniformly accelerated. So this is all about what is the unit of acceleration that you know, meter per second square. I am not going over these things. So this is just the revision of the motion in a straight line in one dimensional motion which you have studied in the lower classes. It is clear? Now from tomorrow I will, in the next lecture, I will discuss the various types of graph regarding the straight line motion. Straight line motion means in which the magnitude of displacement is equal to distance covered, in which the magnitude of velocity is equal to speed. It's clear? No difference between displacement and distance quantitatively. No difference between velocity and speed quantitatively. Quantitatively, they are same. Only velocity and displacement will have one additional thing, that is the direction. So tomorrow I will discuss the various graphs regarding the in context of the one dimensional motion, displacement time graph or distance time graph, velocity time graph or speed time graph, and then acceleration time graph. It's clear? So thank you.